starter getting them under orders.
Attention! Go!
And we're off in the semi-final of the Stonor. Baer and Richter on the left-hand side, the Chinese boat Lu and Wang on the right-hand side. And a clean exit from those start pontoons for both boats.
And the Chinese boat obviously won the first World Cup this season. The Baer girl Lu is only 20 years old, won her first gold medal last year at the World Championship, so incredible talent.
Germans with a lot more experience, 29 and 30 years respectively, Baer and Richter.
Both Olympic medalists.
Yeah, the women's quad that won silver at the London Olympics. Germans.
So you got the kind of youth, both the Chinese against a really experienced German, so it'd be interesting to see what unfolds in this one.
So that experienced German boat and the youth of the Chinese. And in the early stages, it's the youth that are having it, but it's a long way to go yet.
There is a long way to go, a long way to go. And as we said, it's all about standing contact to halfway, and that's when the race really takes off.
We talked about the races being closer in the semi-finals. The other thing is the race strategies are sometimes more clearly executed because they're potentially wiser, more experienced athletes, and they're easier to see the race unfold, isn't it, from that?
Yeah, and what's really different about head-to-head racing is that kind of strategy, because normally when you race in 6-lane racing, you have a 250 mark, a 500. You can be really meticulous in what mark you're going to do what and where you want to be, and you'll have a set race plan for a certain distance, and then, you know, whatever it takes in the last 750 or whatever you want to do. But at Henley it's so different because it is head-to-head. Different markers, they aren't your 250, 500, 750, that sort of thing. So it's a very, and also, do you try and break the other crew early?
I was going to ask, you can probably impact your opponent more in head-to-head, whereas if it's 6 lanes and maybe your biggest rival is a couple of lanes away from you and they're trying to impact their race at all is minimal, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can, and with multi-lane racing, because there's 6 boats, you can have a race within a race. And that race within a race can impede or push you up the rankings, depending on what tussle you're having, where this is literally head-to-head, winner takes all. It's so different, such different racing.
And I wonder if the strategy and the tactics have moved on apace in the last couple of years when coaches and athletes have been able to review full races on video afterwards, where a few years ago they never had the luxury of doing that. Before TV pictures were here, they'd row the race, but actually no one other than the athletes and the umpire would see the whole thing unfold, whereas now they can go back into their hotels afterwards, they can review what happened, they can look at their opponents and what they've done in races.
And that's a real benefit to the coaches, because they have more insight to know what's going on. They'll be in the launch, you'll see the umpire standing up, and either side of them you'll have the coaches, family members. They get 2 or 3 tickets each crew has, so they'll be following the race. They can't say anything in the launch, they can just watch. And that was the only viewpoint they had. But now with the images of this, they get to see it from a different perspective, which is really helpful if you're a coach trying to plan how to overcome your opponents potentially in the next round.
And today of all days, that's got to be live and active, hasn't it? Because whichever boat wins this will be keeping a very close eye on our next Stonor semi-final, which comes up in a few minutes' time, 11:30 UK time, because you've got a chance to watch your opposition tomorrow, haven't you, and understand what their preferred race strategy is.
You know, you're trying, you know, use that knowledge of watching the kind of images we're seeing here to kind of, you know, work out a scenario or race plan where you can move or do a push to kind of overhaul your kind of opponents. And it's all about that knowledge and insight, you know, trying to build that ideal race plan come finals day.
Well, the Germans at the moment staying just poised and in contention. Baer and Richter, the Germans, against Lu and Wang of China, who have got a lead of a length and a bit, maybe 2 lengths now. Yeah, a couple of lengths lead, and the Chinese moving the boat very efficiently. This is all part of the Chinese revolution going on in rowing, isn't it? With Steve Redgrave's
chairman, Paul Thompson, director of rowing out there. Paul Thompson's working with the women's program, and Tom Kay. So You know, there's a whole contingent of British coaches, British ex-rowers gone out there. So, you know, with Tom and Steve, obviously Paul Thompson come from Australia. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see whether that grudge match, obviously being from one system going to a new system, you know, how that fares over the next year going into the Olympic Games.
Yeah, they're throwing some resources at it, the Chinese, to try and get it right for their Olympics in 2020.
Exactly, in Tokyo, it's a massive deal for them, isn't it? It's like when it was
nearly a home Olympics.
It's nearly.
It's the same for us in Paris in 2024, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not far at all. And obviously with Beijing, that was a massive thing. They put a lot of resources into all sports, and that, you know, kind of trying to have their flag higher when it comes to Tokyo. I'm sure that's a big statement as well, not just for athletes, but probably politically as well. You know what it's like out there.
Big rivalries inevitably, and in 2020 the Chinese will want to get it absolutely right, as every nation will. But certainly in the rowing, they're targeting medals, great intentions, and these two that you're watching at the moment will be part of that. Liu and Wang of China in this Stonor semi-final.
And they've really taken control of this. Clear water now of the German combination.
Just seen a thrilling finish in the Prince Albert race, Harvard University against Oxford Brookes University. I don't know whether we're going to have the same punch in the last few hundred metres.
Now this is another boat class where you can change speed really quickly as well. And you don't want to let the opposing crew, you know, have a sense that you're right beside them and they've got an opportunity to pounce on you.
Well, the Germans are just making a move here, aren't they? They're realising that if they don't make the move now, then they're going to have a quiet Sunday.
They're going to run out of water, yeah. So they need to go now and try and put the Chinese under pressure.
So trying to break the Chinese, not an easy thing to do, because Liu and Wang looking strong, moving well. And at the moment, heading for the final on the Buck Station. Youngsters who are impressing,
looking strong there,
in control, dropping the rate, saving the energy, and heading for the line now. So a win for Liu and Wang of China in the Stonor against Baer and Richter of Germany. That's the line they come now. And that was a well put together race. They had it under control, the young Chinese rowers. Baer and Richter, huge experience, massive pedigree, lots of medals at different events over the years, but not to be at this Henley Royal Regatta for them.